Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment and share. If you've been around for a bit, I'm glad and thank you for supporting us, me and Skylar. Yeah, Skylar, yeah, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Are you going to sing us a song?
Yeah.
Go on, sing it really nice, loud and clear.
Oh my God. You kicked that butt. Oh my gosh. You kicked that butt. Oh my gosh. You kicked her butt.
Thank you. That was a beautiful song sung by Skylar Ya, the amazing Skylar Ya. So guys, it's not a rude song. It's just it's from a TV channel with kids and they're doing some auditioning and three pigs are singing, oh my God, look at her butt. Oh my God, look at her butt. And it kind of like, it's very, what's the word? It's one of those catchy songs that it just gets stuck in your head. I was singing it when I was doing the dishes, and when I first heard it, I was like, who sings that? And then I saw the characters and I'm like, oh my God, these days, what's the world coming to? Anyway guys, the topic that I'm going to talk about today is just it's just about racism in Australia. What's like to be a South Sudanese living in Australia and having children, and the fears that we have to constantly think about on daily basis. Just, it's so frightening to be in Australia. To be a Sudanese in Australia is so frightening. I'm not going to speak on behalf of all the Sudanese because I don't know, but I'm quite engaged with my community. Skylar, are you not going to let me talk for a bit? Just give me some time, okay? Yeah, we're gonna go soon, okay? We're gonna drive soon, so just give me 5 minutes. Let me do this and then we go, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. You're a beautiful girl. So anyway, I think it's important that we understand that there is racism in Australia, and it comes from all different forms. I think there's a lot of institutionalized racism. This is where it's all covered up, so sometimes you don't see it, you know what I mean? And then there's the very open, blunt racism where they'll be like, oh, go back to your fucking area. I can't say that, but go back, you effing whatever, to your country. There's a lot of that. And initially, I mean, I grew up here, and when I grew up, I have foundations because before I came to Australia, I had gone to a few different countries as a refugee. Then luckily we got selected to come here. So very, very blessed to be in Australia. I'm not denying that. I love it. I love Australia. I love Australia, but it's also frightening now that I'm a mum and now that I see what the media have done to the mind of the general people, the general public. They've been conditioned to believe that people of South Sudanese descent have got a problem, and they are troublemakers, and you know, we're being associated with the gang and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think the story goes back to 2016 when there was that Mumbai concert in Melbourne, and there was a huge brawl where a bunch of young kids obviously fought. I mean, look, if there's alcohol available, there's a whole bunch of young kids with hormones and everything flying everywhere in their bodies. What do you think is going to happen? These things happen everywhere. It doesn't have to just be Sudanese. It happens in all communities. But because it was the Sudanese, we were very unfortunately targeted, and we were on all the news channels, and as a result, it was okay. The papers sold, definitely they sold, because there's this bunch of new people from the Sudan. They're refugees. They're not appreciating what they've been given. They should do more. They should do better. Whatever, yeah. But now what the general public don't understand is how these things affect us. I would say that I'm first generation Australian. I mean, am I first generation Australian? No, Sudanese Australian. And my children would be what they call second generation Sudanese Australian. So they're born here, right? The only thing that makes them different from the old friend, I don't know, Joe, whatever his name is the fact that they're dark skinned. So, and you know, like I have two boys, and my boys are literally joined on the hips. They hang out together all the time. They are not troublesome kids. They are amazing children, and they love hanging out together. Now, if I was to extend that a little bit more, they have cousins that they also love, and kind of like same age, maybe a few years older. They want to hang out with their cousins because that's what they know. Because I raised them on, like on the ground, but I don't let them sleep over with random people unless they're family. We're very tight that way. And so if they were to, now that they're teenagers, they want to hang out with the same people they grew up with. So if they were to go to a shopping center and just do shopping or go to the movies or go and play basketball, they become a threat all of a sudden to society. And these children, they will never hurt a fly. Not a freaking fly. They will never hurt a fly.
Why?
But all of a sudden, they are a problem to society because they are colored, because they are black, and they're hanging out together. That is so insulting. It's insulting on all different levels. And I don't know why my community are not really talking about these issues, because it seems like it's not our problem now, but it is our problem. It's become my problem. A few years ago, it was not my problem because my kids were still young. Thank you, Skylar. Yeah. What are you singing? Como sita
Yeah.
Oh, is that the froggy song?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I please finish my talk?
Okay.
Thank you. Can you please go to sleep
Of course.
for 2 minutes?
Okay, Mom.
Thank you so much. You're the best, most well-behaved little girl around.
Okay, Mom.
I love you. Good night.
Good night.
So, sorry guys, as I was saying, this is a channel for Skylar Ya and I, so I've got to let her talk. I've got to let her, and these things happen. That's what children do. I don't get how those YouTubers with like 7 kids can actually be in front of camera and not have their child jump in and say stuff and do things. I'm just like, this one would just, she's sleeping now, apparently, sleeping with her glasses. Look how cool she looks. Anyway, so then this issue would tend to be, kids want to hang out in groups, it becomes a problem, they become a threat to society, they start getting singled out, they get triggered everywhere they go. I mean, come on, we're humans. When I was growing up, I did some stuff to defend myself. At school, I did some stuff to defend myself because I felt like I was always being singled out. And it didn't stop. It came from all corners, front, center, right, and back. And that's not a great feeling, guys. You feel alone. You feel completely alienated. And that's not a nice feeling. So what do? You start to put up boundaries and you start to put up barriers. And then whether people consider these barriers like to be not good for them or doesn't suit them, that's their problem. Because if you didn't single me out in the first place, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have said things that I would say to people. I had to become a survivor. And I don't want my kids to feel like they have to survive. Why should they have to survive in their own country? They're born here. They're Australians. They should feel free to go to the movies in groups with their 10 cousins, if there's 10 cousins. Literally, if I count all my cousins' kids and my nieces and my kids, there's more than 12 there between the 3 of us. So if they want to hang out like that, they're a family. It's not even like gang. They're not gang if they're hanging out in groups. And we come from collective society. The South Sudanese, we do everything together. I'm telling you, I don't like it all the time. I want to be alone. Sometimes I do appreciate the individual way of doing things, the Australian way. But because that's our culture, we literally do everything together. So for the police to say you can't see certain amount of numbers of people hanging out, they're a family. Why are you breaking up families? And then you talk about broken structures. If you you cannot let cousins hang out together, and then you're turning around going, oh no, they come from broken homes. You're breaking their bond that they want to establish with their cousin. That's breaking a bond there. That's breaking a family structure. They are a family. Don't come telling them who they should hang and not hang out with. And what really makes me sad, guys, is the fact that the families and the community leaders are sitting there not doing much. You only see them get up every now and then with a piece of paper, trying to please the media and saying things. They're not listening to the voices. They're not listening to the mothers that have to go through these on a daily basis. Mothers that their kids are being literally picked up, thrown in the van of the police and taken to watch house for no reason. for literally no reason, just because they're hanging out. For children that are just chilling in the library, having a break, there's 3, 4 of them studying. And then some librarian would feel like, oh, they've been here so long, they should go. Call the police, and the police would come and be like, hey, your time is up, go home. Imagine living in a society like that, and they call it a free society. How is it free for everyday men like us? Men that have to live with black skin. It's not so free, is it, guys? Think about it. How is it free? I mean, like I said before, my kids are 14. I don't let them go to the movies yet by themselves because I'm terrified. I'm terrified that some random bunch of teenagers that are bogan or have very ignorant people will be like, oh, you black guys, go back to your country. And they'll turn around and be like, hang on a second, we're born here, we're Australians. And then they'll try and defend themselves like I had to and be like, you can't say that to me. Why don't you go back to your country? And then it turns into a fight. And before you know it, guess who's going to be thrown in the van? It's most likely going to be Skylar. Yeah, she said it. That's hilarious. It's most likely going to be my boys. And if you look at the scenario, they're not really guilty, but they will be thrown. And if that happened at a very young age, their name gets in the system. And they'll develop this hatred towards the police, and they'll feel like no one is supporting them. So then they'll start hanging out together in their own little groups. Already we've got a problem. It's identity problem. And then the politicians don't make it any better because they're putting so much fear into everyone. So you're going to get a bunch of a bunch of kids that were normal, amazing kids that were singled out. So then they were looking for their own type. So they start hanging out with people they can relate with. Hey, do you feel like they pick on you a little bit because you're black? Oh yeah, like when I was 13, this happened to me. They start hanging out together. And if this happens all the time, by the time they turn 18, they're going to be so bitter towards society, towards the law, the authority. And this is when they start to commit real crimes. Now, tell me that the society didn't fail these kids, that the society didn't fail the parents. You have. I personally think the society is failing us, and it's time that we speak up as parents. It's time that we have this discussion very honestly, very openly, and sharing, how we feel and sharing the aftermath of what the media would go and put up a story. People would read it. There's a huge hype for 1 week, huge hype about it for 1 week or two, and then it dies down, but it affects us every single day. Literally, lives have been changed since that incident in Melbourne. I wanted to move to Melbourne, but I can't. I feel like I'm not going to be safe. I could literally just get attacked because I'm black. Jesus, I feel like it's almost like America. Hi, Skylar, y'all. Anything you want to say? What are you doing? I can't hear. Can you please stop doing that? So, guys, what I'm trying to say. Oh, good girl. No, just drink your water properly, please. Good girl. So I feel like that we're being let down. Our kids are being let down, and it's not fair. We need to be given a fair dinkum go in life in Australia. We do appreciate being here, but it's not all glamorous being in Australia. It's not. You guys, you make it almost impossible for us to try and assimilate into society. I feel like I always have to be extra nice, extra kind, extra this, extra that, extra Y, because if I don't, I'm gonna get singled out. And imagine having, oh my God, I think they should do like an experiment. Yeah, we're going now, darling. I'm done. I think people should actually do an experiment where you can get, hang on, Scarlett, let me just give an example, please. There we go. I think we should do an experiment where you get a racist Australian that is always saying, go back to your country, and do some sort of heavy makeup, make them dress up as African, and just send them out into their own area, and let them be there for a day or two. Like, just give them a week. 1 day to a week in the suburb. So they actually can have like a first-hand experience of what's like to be black. And having to deal with racist people. It's not easy, guys. So anyway, I'm not defending teenagers that are misbehaving, but they are not gang. And to the South Sudanese community, we need to start talking. We need to engage, because all the solutions are in the discussions. So hey guys, thank you for watching this. Please do support Skylar Ya and I by subscribing.